Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
This is Autoline Daily for October 13, 2010, and now the news. The Wall Street Journal reports that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency took a step closer to approving E15, that is, gasoline which is blended with 15% ethanol. Right now, most gasoline is mixed with 10% ethanol. But so far, the EPA is limiting that approval to cars built since 2007. It says it needs more testing to see if E15 will hurt cars made before that. But actually, Ricardo, the powertrain consulting firm, has conducted exhaustive tests and found that E15 does not hurt older cars. Even so, automakers, gasoline refiners, and ranchers oppose the higher blend rate. Why? Well, here's my Autoline insight. The big three are opposed to E15 because they're afraid of losing the big CAFE loopholes granted to flex fuel cars that can run on E85. Refiners are against it because they have to buy ethanol, and they're opposed to anything that increases their costs, even if it helps us get off of oil. And ranchers are opposed because most ethanol in the U.S. is made from corn, which they buy to feed their cattle. Of course, the cattlemen conveniently forget to point out that half the output of every ethanol refinery is actually cattle feed. The Chinese auto industry is booming, but Chinese automaker BYD sure is running into a lot of problems. Its sales dropped 25% last month. It's slashing its sales forecast. And all those promises that it would launch an electric car in the U.S. market this year sure look like a lot of wishful thinking. Now, Bloomberg reports the government is confiscating 7 of BYD's factories in China. The Ministry of Land and Resources says the company illegally built the factories on land that was zoned for agriculture. You know, you got to wonder what billionaire investor Warren Buffett thinks about this. His firm, Berkshire Hathaway, owns 10% of BYD. Once again, researchers from Rutgers University and the University of South Carolina successfully hacked into a car by intercepting wireless tire pressure monitoring signals. According to Wards, this can allow someone to track a car or feed it misinformation. Researchers were able to intercept signals from 30 feet away, and when they used an antenna and amplifier, they could intercept signals up to 120 feet away. They were also able to trigger false readings in vehicles while out on the road. We're beginning to see how the Chrysler-Fiat tie-up could benefit the two companies. Wards reports that Chrysler's South Korean unit will start selling the Fiat 500 and the Alfa Romeo Mito in the country starting next year. Last week, the EU and South Korea signed a free trade agreement that goes into effect next year, which analysts believe will make it easier to sell European cars in South Korea. The launch of the Chevy Volt is fast approaching. Production is scheduled to begin on November 10th, and to prepare the world for its much-hyped EV, GM is starting to build an electric infrastructure. Right now, it plans to install more than 5,300 charging stations in homes and workplaces around Michigan. Within the next week, 18 charges will be operational around its Renaissance Center headquarters in Detroit, and more than 1,500 Chevrolet dealerships across the U.S. plan to install charging stations. Some 650 of them will go to stores located in Volt launch markets, and 900 plus will go to dealers that are authorized to service the car. And that's pretty important news because, after all, what good are EVs if there's no place to charge them? Speaking of electrics, remember Coda Automotive? They're a California-based car maker that's focusing on EVs. According to Autoblog, in an effort to evangelize their products, they've partnered with Enterprise Rent-A-Car to make their electric sedan available for rent. Coda plans to introduce 100 cars across a variety of locations next year. The company claims its four-door has a full-size trunk and enough room for 5 passengers. Its 33.8 kilowatt battery pack should deliver a range of 90 to 120 miles. Coming up next, it's time for me to hear your rants and raves.
Introducing Bridgestone's third generation of run-flat tires with groundbreaking new Bridgestone technologies. Bridgestone run-flat tires offer improved ride comfort, lower rolling resistance, and improved wear while giving you the peace of mind and comfort you need.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. A lot of you wrote in over the controversy of the Chevrolet Volt and whether it's truly an electric car or just some variation of hybrid, but I thought Motorman made the best observation. If the Volt is not 100% electric, he writes in, it does not qualify for the big government, meaning taxpayers, rebate. So GM has to get busy and fix this story. And Motorman, that is a great point. If you can't offset the $41,000 price tag of the Volt with a $7,500 federal tax credit, that will definitely hurt sales. Todd J. saw our report that some GM workers at the company's Orion assembly plant are going to picket against the UAW for agreeing to hire in 40% of the workforce at lower wages. He says, "Someone tell Don Henley and Joe Walsh, hell has frozen over." Never thought I'd see the day that union workers would protest at the UAW headquarters. I don't know whether to be happy or sad. Well, Todd, nobody wants to see people's wages go down, but on the other hand, it is critically important that the UAW show the industry it can make compact cars in America and do it for a profit. 305 Carmen caught our show on Street Fire, where he saw our report on the new Ford C-Max and wrote in to say, "C-Max looks like a giant Fiesta." 305 Carmen, you are right, especially with the front end. That's all part of Ford's kinetic design. Hey, don't forget to tune in to Autoline After Hours tomorrow night live at 7 p.m. Eastern. Our guest will be Bob Purcell, who used to run GM's EV program and is now the CEO of Protean, the company that makes electric hub motors. Here's a question for you. Why will drag racers come to love hub motors? You're going to have to tune in tomorrow night to find out. Also, coming up Friday is show number 500 for Autoline Daily. We've got something special for you in store. But this brings us to the end of today's report on the news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.